welcome to San Antonio Fancast. My name is Harry. Joining me tonight, let's bring on Rafa. Rafa, how are we doing? I know the internet's a little bit sluggish there in your part of the town here. You need to get the hamsters going back on, but I think that's our fault for not being consistent. Although technically, this will be 2 shows in July. We are getting it in on the last day of the month, so progress.
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Let's bring in the great Jonathan Check, fresh off SAFC Media Day on Thursday here. How are you, Jonathan? Sock in our chat. Well, no, in our noteworthy in our chat was your socks, but we'll get to that here in a second. Matt joins us here, who put on him and Stuart and the rest of FTC and 210 put on a hell of a tailgate here this past weekend against New Mexico United in USL Cup. How are you guys doing? Or how are you doing, Matt?
Rafa, there you go. Doing good, man. Just tired. I'm not gonna lie. Big tired.
Big tired. Royce is out celebrating birthday 29, 28, 50, something along those lines.
Happy birthday.
Him and Robert too busy celebrating Juan Agadelo's brace and decided to take a week off for that here. So congratulations to Juan Agudelo for the brace and being on the round of Jägermeister Cup Team of the Week here. And we'll kind of get into that here, but Royce, Robert, if people remember, president and vice president of the Agudelo fan club. Jason and Stuart, thank you for your support in the back in behind the scenes here for that here. So, but let's get to it here. We actually had some player news. You want to talk about it a little bit, Jonathan?
Sure. I mean, not that much to talk about, but on our last show, I believe I pointed out how Abdi Salim was due for either release from SAFC or a contract extension after he'd been on a 25-day contract. He only had, I believe, 1 match to go at the time, or maybe it was even after that match. I don't know. But since then, SAFC picked up his contract for the rest of the season on July 22nd. So not sure we've really seen enough to make a judgment on him yet, but from what Carlos Llamosa and the staff have seen in training, they decided it was worth it to keep him on for the rest of the year.
Yeah, supposedly he's had 3 matches, 126 minutes, including a clean sheet, on the road against Colorado Springs to help keep SAFC at the time undefeated in the Jägermeister Cup. And we'll talk about that win in Colorado Springs because that ended up being very huge by the backup teams here. So moving on, how do we want to present this for the New Mexico match? We'll go with the injury report here first. Game 4 of the Jägermeister Cup. Along those lines here, Mr. Aguilo, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well. According to the availability, Lasario, Nelson Flores Blanco, Sanchez, Alex Grieve. Jonathan, anybody stand out on that list?
I mean, personally, I started with, since it was coming back from a 2-week break and SAFC was talking about who was going to be back, it's worth noting Diego Pacheco, Mohamed Omar, Jorge Hernandez, and Jimmy Matranda were not on the injury list like the previous time. Sanchez being there still was a bit of a surprise because before the 2-week break, Carlos Llamosa had made it sound like he was probably going to be, or maybe not probably, but could be back after that break. Ended up not being the case. SAFC still down its starting goalkeeper, and because of a concussion and from what we hear, potentially some vertigo, which is not great. Obviously, need to take as much time as possible to get back to normal, get rid of these symptoms that could be really problematic, not even just for SAFC, but for him if they're not fully taken care of.
Any surprises for you, Rafa or Matt?
A little bit. I mean, but go Rafa.
No, I was gonna say I kind of anticipated maybe Grieve would be back by this time, but I guess whatever injury he has is still kind of lingering. I think Juan Osorio's been the one that's been there for a while. Hopefully, it's not nothing too severe. And I know Nelson. I think the last time I think he kind of came a little lame, but yeah, Richard, like I mentioned, we kind of thought, he passed for a concussion protocol after the kind of the break, but that's yeah, if he's possible vertigo, that's not for a goalkeeper. That's not good, and hopefully it doesn't linger, further on. And but like I said, we do have two quality backups that have done a really good job. But like I said, you still want to have your number one there here for the long haul towards this back end of the season.
And I have to say hello to my nemesis. I stay awake just to tell Harry you're a punk. Well, you're a punk as well, buddy. I'm trying to keep it PG. And I've only started my beer. Maybe if at the end of the show, maybe some other words will. But thank you to Matt and the Nicios for welcoming us to the tailgate. And the Socios will be back. Chris will be, Leha will be back just, for another whipping. But it is what it is. Sam,
Yeah, I
good
didn't
evening.
hear it went that way, bro. I heard you got your ass whooped.
That's not true, man. PTS TV, thanks for having us. Matt, that Jaeger was aggressive. Hey, why didn't you offer me any Jaeger?
You walked off.
You said you didn't have any.
Yeah, we didn't until Mijo whipped it out. Pause. But yeah.
Phrasing.
Sanchez gun. So.
We need to tell Leo how to bring out some dirt to cover that hole.
Yeah, but yeah, if he's having vertigo, bro, I mean, they hopefully they take it with caution because as someone who has it, oh my god, it fucking sucks.
And of course, Leha making light of things here. I had vertigo once. I went back to work the next day. But Leha, what you do is you sit and watch people pour concrete. You just stand and watch it dry. So not necessarily really the double stuff here for that here. Still waiting on the Sucio versus Nicio's drink off. I'll represent Sith in the house. I don't know, Matt can carry it. Jonathan's a sleeper, let me tell you.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Elias tried to get me on the Jaeger, bro. That second one just it went overboard. I didn't think it was gonna be that quick, but it went overboard.
So I haven't had a shot in probably 10 years. This was probably the last time. At this tailgate, Gary handed me, what was it, with some Tennessee salted malt whiskey?
Salted caramel, I want to say.
Salted caramel. Had two of those. With Leha, had a shot of tequila, and I was asking Matt for the Jägermeister,
Jaeger.
So I could go another 10 years without it, but I guess we'll have to see.
Next Jägermeister Cup, yes, we'll have it.
So, but Chris said on the reel, if I may have some material left over on a job, and will they let me just show up? Probably not. I'll just because that's Morgan's Wonderland. So I would probably say
it's somebody else's actually. We looked it up.
Consider the donation.
That would actually probably be the Spurs in the county, right? If they own under the tailgate.
No, someone legit owns it. We just don't know exactly who. But right. I mean, I'll reach out tomorrow and ask, and I'll let you know tomorrow, Leha.
Moving to the starting lineup.
Really quickly, I'm just gonna follow up on the note about Juan Sebastian Osorio. This information is about a week old at this point because it was something that Carlos Simosa had said before the New Mexico game. But we asked about injuries, and one particular thing he mentioned was that Osorio had undergone some surgery. But he was saying it would only be about 4 weeks, I believe, until he's back. So about 3 weeks at this point. Bit of a quick return. I guess it was just a minor surgery. Of course, take things with a grain of salt because, like I said, Sanchez, there was a chance that he was going to be back, and that turned out not to be the case. So you never know with these injuries. They'll be ready when they're ready. Starting lineup. Good.
So for Sith, it was his first football game. It was dope, easy to follow, and a blast to watch. Well, it is nice when you're up in the fancy seats. Come on down to the supporters section, and that's where you'll really experience it. So, although if you're soft like me, you go over there for a half, and then you go back to your seat and sit down and have a couple beers for that. But starting lineup: Agudelo, Paredes, Hackinson, Soto, Nicky Hernandez, Barone, Neville gets the start. Tainer, Cernali, Buckmaster, and Petroni got the start for that here. I didn't have the one on the bench, but Jorge was on the bench. There were some players.
Pacheco.
Pacheco was on the bench. I was kind of surprised they didn't start, but I guess them returning after injury, coming back and getting 30 minutes is probably ideal for them here. But thoughts on the starting lineup?
It is what it is, I guess, for the Jaeger Cup. I mean, you're gonna have a mix of some starters and some backups. Like I said, plus we had a 2-week layoff, so you want to kind of knock off some of the rust. So, but it's kind of been our normal, especially our midfield. That's kind of been our normal starting kind of for the last few games.
Yeah, honestly, just kind of from one match to the next, there were only 2 changes from the team that played against Tampa Bay on July 12th and then this team. And those were Harvey Neville getting his first start, second appearance for SAFC, and Joey Petroni getting his second start. He had also played the previous Jägermeister Cup match at home on June 28th. So those are the only 2 changes. Other than that, pretty much the normal lineup. Kind of shows you, I guess, how seriously SAFC took this.
So I'm going to ask this question to you, Rafa. Assuming Sanchez is out for a little bit longer, Petroni, or was it Daniel? Any controversy, or is Daniel the solid number 2? We'll start, for against Sacramento. You think?
I think it'll be Daniel, but hey, Joey's making a case. He's had two solid games, and some great saves. Even though kind of the defense kind of let him down on this game, but which we'll get into. But the good thing is moving forward. Like I said, we like I mentioned earlier, we have two quality keepers that we can go either way. So it's but like I said, we should be fine there. And like I mentioned, hopefully, like I said, Richard does come back because Richard has, he's had a great season. Where we were kind of skeptical about it in the beginning, but he's, like I said, he's done a good job so far since the injury. But I think we're in good hands right now with Daniel, and I think Daniel will be. Yeah, I don't think we'll bring in anybody on loan unless. Plus we also have academy keeper too.
Not at goalkeeper.
The third.
Yeah, not at goalkeeper, but I do think I would like to see some other positions, and after we're talking about this, we'll talk.
Yeah, I don't think they'll bring on a loan because since we do have the academy goalkeeper, he'll be the number 3 if Sanchez happens not to. If this continues on, so we're fine there.
So talking about the game here, let's see here. So it starts out here. In the 8th minute, Paredes cross right in front of Agudelo in the box for a first touch shot. Timbakis did get a piece of it, but couldn't keep it out to start here. Paredes had a good game, and we'll get into when he had to leave early due to injury. But his speed was making a difference on the counter with New Mexico and then the crosses. So. Jonathan, you want to give any feedback on the first goal since you are up in the media section, having a good vision of the full 22?
I mean, I don't necessarily always get the best view of the 22, but from where I was sitting, honestly, I was a little surprised with how early the cross came in. I figured maybe Paredes would take at least another touch and then swing it in a little more horizontally, but instead, he goes for the early cross. I think a defender may have even gotten a slight deflection on it, but it finds its way to Agudelo. He takes the first-time shot, like you said, Tim Backus gets a piece of it, but not enough to keep it out. And that will kind of repeat itself later in the match. But really important for SAFC to get that early goal to draw first blood and tell New Mexico, okay, hey, ball's in your court here. We've made our move. We scored the first goal.
Any thoughts from you, Matt?
I mean, it was. I was still buzzing. So, it's not great to ask me in the beginning half. Second half, probably I remember more than the first half. All I remember is someone scored and I didn't know who it was. So now when I found out who it was, I was like, dang.
You were like, oh, I'm gonna.
That's why I took the question.
Time out here, Jason. This is a prime reason why you can be on the show. Did you not just hear that answer when you listen to this, or you watch it on the recap? Our Matt, the one we love, the leader, one of the great leaders of FTC, was like, dude, I didn't know who scored. I didn't know. Blah, blah, blah. Come on.
I couldn't see. I couldn't see who it was, and then at the same time, I was just like, "What the heck?" But then when I asked, when we said, "Oh, Agudelo got a brace," I was like, "He scored twice." I didn't know who it was, so that answers my question.
The low bar that we have for this show. Next, you want to go to the next point, or I'll go to the next point because I'm the one that typed it in. 44th minute, Joey Petroni had a hell of a save, one-handed dive, ended up being part of the USL Cup or the Jaeger Cup. Save of the week, or save of the round, which voting is still going on. So at last I saw, he was tied for second place at 25%. So if you can, please go vote. Rafa, you're a resident goalkeeper. Your thoughts on Joey's save and the extension?
Just textbook. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's been doing it since high school, especially when we play with Lee. And you know, you can see his game's growing. You know, he's getting confident every time he's in between the pipes. He's getting confident, and he's like I said, sooner or later. I was saying this year, but like I said, don't be surprised he's going to becoming our starter in the near future, and maybe some for next year, or maybe like I said, maybe some other teams already kind of has an eye on him. You never know, which would be great for him. You know, if he gets called up to go MLS or somewhere else, you know, he's going to get the opportunities. It'll be great for him. But the textbook, great read. He really knows how to position himself. So like this for the shots, he always be able to kind of get there, the quick reaction, because that should have gone in. I think with any other keeper probably would have gone in, but he's just had that touch. So kudos to him, and hopefully, like I said, everybody vote for that, because I think that was the save of the round.
Joey did sign a multi-year deal as well. So just to be fair, now that doesn't necessarily mean anything in USL Championship, but he is, I think, the only goalkeeper. Only goalkeeper signed to a multi-year deal. Sanchez was 2025, and Daniel was 2025, but not multi for that year. So food for thought on that. Next up, 51st minute, long ball bound upfield, but only falls into Agudelo's path. Shot again was touched by Tabakis, but trickles in. So that was the second goal here. Matt, on the other side here, did you see the second goal? Because the first goal was on your side, right in front of you. The second goal was at the other end. Did you see that? Did you have your long-term vision glasses on?
I was watching it on the big screen. I saw that goal. I was more paying attention on that one because I was starting to get tired, but we were watching that one.
Jonathan, your thoughts on the second goal?
Like I said, similarities to the first one, at least at the end, in terms of how it finished, who it scored. But ball kind of lobbed upfield, I would say, and then Taylon Maples, I think, tries to clear it, and it just happens to deflect off of Agudelo. He was in the right spot and bounced into his path in the box. He pounces on it, takes a shot. Tembakis again gets a piece of it, but it still trickles in. You got to hand it to Agudelo at least on this night. He was in the right places. He was taking shots that were, I'd say, good enough. And for what it's worth, if anyone says, "Oh, Tembakis got a piece of both of them," though, Alex Tembakis is a really good goalkeeper.
He's a really good goalkeeper.
So
bad haircut, but really good goalkeeper, as my son says.
So I mean, sometimes you just have to put it on target, and in both of these cases, it's not like he took a few touches or anything. He was taking pretty quick shots and was able to catch Tembakis both times. And he even said after the match, July historically has been a good month for him. He tends to get a lot of goals, is really feeling it. So unfortunately, July's over. We'll see what he's able to carry into August. But whether it's July, whether it's the Jägermeister Cup, he seems to enjoy both of those. And he's actually, if you didn't see the post-game quotes, or I think SAFC may have even done a post about it, some of his teammates are calling him Jägermeister King, because that's now, I think, 3 goals and an assist in these matches.
What, Matt? Go
ahead, I'm the Jägermeister King. I'm the Jägermeister King.
So, how can you be the Jägermeister King when you don't even know who's scoring goals?
Because it did its job. I wasn't paying attention.
Anyway.
He's gonna have to throw Agudelo a shot of Jaeger. Maybe that keep him scoring goals.
Hey, right. I'm just not gonna do it the way Royce does it, man. That root beer with Jaeger, it was so disgusting, bro.
So, unfortunately, in the 77th minute, probably really bad news for SAFC. Paderas went up. When I first saw it, because I'm friends with the United Front, the podcast from New Mexico, I was going to say, hey, the New Mexico player pulled him down. But when you actually watch the replay, he went up. There was a little bit of body contact. In my opinion, I don't even think it was yellow card worthy, but just because of how Paderas went down, both knees looked bad. If you watch the replay, both knees did. Unfortunately, he was carted off, so not even able to walk off. And his Instagram post, I couldn't read what it said, or I couldn't translate what it said, but it didn't sound very promising. Maybe Matt or Rafa can kind of go a little bit more detail of what he put on there, or Jonathan if he translated it. But for SAFC, if Paderas is out for a long period of time, which I think most of us expect, he's our speed. The offense tends to flow through him. So this is not good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What happened last year with our speedster winger went down last year with a similar injury, and our offense fell apart. Like I said, I watched the video. It didn't look good. Like that knee didn't. Like I said, I don't know. They haven't said anything yet. It's an ACL or MCL. But the way he commented it, yeah, they're saying they probably look at maybe a torn ACL. Like I said, the way he commented, it looks like his season's done. SAFC is going to have to find. I don't know who they can find out there to replace that speed, but they're going to have. Because it's going to be his offenses. He was starting to click. You notice that he had especially that Colorado game. He was on it. He was on that game, and he started getting into the rhythm. I think even ever since I got that red card, he started getting back into the flow, and he was really starting to be that offensive threat as far as the attack and sending crosses in. So far, like I said, he got an assist on that first goal. So it's going to be dearly missed, and hopefully, like I said, we can find a replacement that can at least do some of the things he's been doing. There's no one who's going to be able to replace Paredes, but we're going to have to find some speed up front to kind of complement, if we have Agudelo up front, and hopefully maybe Grieve by that time, maybe he'll be back. I know we have Pacheco back, so Pacheco does have some speed up front, but
not the same. But not the same.
Not the same. Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to hurt us as far as some of the attack.
Jonathan, your thought, or we'll go to you, Matt, and then wrap up with Jonathan as far as for the Paderas injury. I doubt we know anymore because you haven't really tweeted anything out, or if you did, I missed it, unfortunately, this afternoon. But in regards to that, but Matt, your thoughts on Paderas going out? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Because Rafa called it out.
Before we ask you, we got to ask, hey, do you even know what we're talking about?
Yes, I do. I saw him go down. Yeah, it didn't. From our vantage point, it didn't look. It looked like he pulled him down, like you said. But then when they showed it on the big screen, you could see his knee buckle in. So yeah. Hope. I mean, if it is what it is, prayers to him. Quick recovery. I mean, you're not wrong when they played through him, because they were doing a lot on that side of the field when they were playing running towards us. So they played through him a lot, and don't get me wrong, his crosses were pretty much on point. But yeah, they're gonna just have to have someone live up to that bar, or they gotta find somebody, because the amount of crosses that he can put into the right spot is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I never even went back and looked at the replay or anything. Probably for the best. I know at training today we were actually talking about some of the more gruesome or unpleasant injuries we've seen over the years. But having to get stretchered off is never a good sign. The things he was posting on Instagram sounded, I guess you would say, trying to be optimistic and see the silver lining, or be upbeat. I'm gonna bounce back, but in the short and medium term, probably not good for him. We'll see when the injury reports and everything come out, and I guess I did poke around a little bit today, and it sounds like we'll get perhaps a clearer picture over the next few days. I'll say that.
So I'll go to the next one. SAFC missed several point-blank shots. They hit the frames of the goal. My buddy Jake, dude, I don't know how you missed that. Paderas had a one-on-one where Timbacas, I guess he got it because they got a corner out of it, but just pushed it wide. SAFC could not get the third goal. So people have seen me. I actually have a torn meniscus. I'll be going in for surgery mid-August to have some fragment took out and for them to see how bad inside it is. So I left at the 89th minute thinking, hey, we're good to go. We're up 2-0. Jonathan, what happened in extra time?
First of all, can I just say this is very ironic because the Tampa Bay game, you also left early thinking, okay, it's going to be a scoreless draw, and then SAFC was able to pull a win out of that. So, how the
So it's not the
turntables.
piñata anymore, it's Harry.
Probably.
Harry leaving early, that's why.
Hey, we won against Tampa. This one, yeah, whatever happened. But well, to me, like said, because going down the stairs, I either have to leave early or I got to be one of the last people out. It's because I can't get my knee to go down in a crowded area. Just it won't happen. So that's Jonathan. Go ahead.
Let me.
I know
I'll
you
just
want
say
to comment on something.
nothing wrong with being one of the last people out. Believe me, I've been there plenty of times after interviews. That's my reason. But anyway, yeah. So nice match. SAFC up 2-0. Petruni gets a clean sheet. SAFC, the only team to go through the group stage with a perfect record, except with 10 minutes of stoppage time, which people are maybe questioning whether there should have been that much. But I mean, there were a couple of lengthy stoppages, particularly with Paredes down for a few minutes and then having to get stretchered off. 10 minutes of stoppage time. And so you think, okay, well, maybe New Mexico can claw one goal back toward the end, but as long as SAFC doesn't let them get that first goal quickly, this should be secure. Well, second minute of stoppage time, New Mexico gets the ball upfield. They square it along the ground from the right side of the box, and although the initial shot was blocked, it falls to Valentin Noel at the top of the box, and he just buries it, bottom right corner. So all of a sudden, they say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer, and so it has proven, because all of a sudden, you feel secure, 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden, it's a 1-goal game. And the momentum very much in New Mexico's favor. And then 7 minutes later, yet again, New Mexico on the attack. They luffed a ball into the box. I think it, kind of an inverted winger style, cuts in from the wing. I think it was Zico Bailey, in fact, swings it in. It's headed back across the box. And Dayon Harris, who apparently was making a return from injury for the first time this season, in fact, good for him, I guess. He's already got that scoring touch because he volleyed it home first time. No one closed him down quickly enough. And all of a sudden, a match that SAFC had dominated, a match that SAFC should have been 3, 4, 5 goals ahead in if they took some of those chances better. All of a sudden, it's 2-2. And what should have been a comfortable win is a draw. And for what it's worth, that was enough for SAFC to advance in the Jägermeister Cup, to win the group and everything. Great. But not how you want to end the match. And even then, we're not done yet. We've still got a penalty shootout. But is there anything you guys want to say about these 2 goals?
So I'll say this. So for people that don't know, Valentin Noel was just transferred from Vegas to New Mexico earlier in the week. He is a MLS quality player for that here. I think he had 17. I won't go into specific goals, but he had several goals with Sanchez, who was the former coach with Las Vegas before he moved to there. So both of the goals, I will say, were quality goals. To me, and I'm not nitpicking on Cornelli and Rafa, can probably maybe speak to it a little bit more. Cornelli tried to clear it, but just didn't get enough on it to get it past Valentin Noel, and he finished it clean. There's nothing you can really say about it. He took advantage of it, unlike SanAntonio, and he converted in, and then of course Davon's Harris goal kind of remind me a little bit of RGV's goals, where in the box crowded. Did kind of a scissor volley type in quality goal for there. So all credit to New Mexico. The goals they scored were good. I think Rafa may have a bone to pick on the defense, maybe a little bit more than I did, but I thought New Mexico, with the very limited chances they had, especially in the final 10 minutes, they did well.
So overall, I'm not playing the defense. I think the whole team overall. You have 10 minutes left of stoppage time. That's probably the worst time management this team has done. Yeah, couple things. You want to get hold of that ball, find ways to clear it out. Basically, kicking it out, waste time, this and that. That was not done. And also why are we sitting back and letting them penetrate in our attacking side? We need to go up and engage, steal the ball, take it to the corners and this and that, kill the clock. And, you mentioned about the Tampa game. That was, we're close on, with that one. And that's something that I don't know if Jamas was probably, I don't know if Jonathan, if Jamas addressed that as far as the time management towards the end. But also, we got to be better at finishing games. We can't leave teams hanging around, and that goes back to not having an actual striker that would have put. I honestly believe we have a 3-goal lead. New Mexico's done. You had a fourth one that they would have basically quit. So it goes down to time management, being smart, playing the ball out, wasting time, not allowing them to penetrate in your area. It's those little things, and those little things. Like I said, if this was like an actual playoff game, this could have end up biting us in the butt. So I know it's a learning, something we're gonna have to learn from it, but they have to improve on this because there's a couple of times that we've allow teams to kind of stick around. So that's one thing I'm a little upset as we need to learn how to finish these games and also be better time managers and waste time, especially if you know you have a lot of stoppage time to kill.
For what
Matt,
it's worth, if I may
Mhm.
just point out
Mhm.
here, SAFC and its inability to finish off matches, it's like there's a curse on the club or something, because this has been a noticeable trend under Darren Powell, sometimes even under Alan Marcina, now maybe under Carlos Simosa. I don't know what it is.
Well,
This
although
club
Marcina
just,
had the record when they scored first or when they were ahead, they did very well up until the end of last year. Because they had that
I think
they
even
had
for a
that
year
long streak.
There's a
before
couple.
that, yeah, there were definitely a few matches. I remember at least like one against Tampa
I know
Bay.
Tampa,
one
they
against
were up
San
and ended
Diego,
up allowing
where
for, yeah.
SAFC's allowed teams to come back into matches that they definitely should not have allowed teams back into. So again, all three coaches have had this issue, and maybe it's a little too early to say it's a trend with Himosa, but obviously after this last match, doesn't look great. And both matches against New Mexico, for what it's worth, late goals from the I can't even think of the Land of Enchantment to take points from SAFC.
Can y'all hear me?
I mean, I know with them knowing that they only needed also a tie too, but still, and even towards the end, they still had a chance in the last seconds, But still, all of this is, like I said, I know it's a learning experience, but still, you have to learn how to finish games, because these are the type of games you're going to start seeing around October and November when you get to the playoffs. That's something that was good on the 2022 year, when we won it. We learned how to finish games. We put teams away. You cannot allow, especially a team that New Mexico's that good, to kind of have them stick around. This isn't one of the other teams that kind of like the cream puff that we have in the league. But you can't have a team like that, or Phoenix, or even Tulsa, like I said, even Sacramento. You can't have them hanging around like that.
So,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Go on, Matt.
Okay. Well, my thing is why are we subbing academy kids in towards the last time where it's crunch time? That's my little thing also.
Well, Landry had a good shot. I'm not like Landry. Like Landry's shot was a great save by Tambakis, and if Jake finishes that, then it's a completely different ending. So I don't fault Landry coming in. That's not. I don't know defensively.
But there was ball watching too.
Defensive sides, I saw a lot of some mistakes, like rookie mistakes, and that allowed Mexico's chances, and that's something why not have Omar come in instead, or somebody if he was on the bench, have someone else, knowing the stakes of this game, to finish it, because now if we're up 3-0, 4-0, go ahead and put Landry in. But I'll feel more secure with someone that has more experience to kind of finish this like a 2-0 game than an academy player, because he was making a lot of errors as far as like bad passing, short passes, and so forth. But like I said, it's if you watch the tape, you're gonna I noticed the little things, because I'm a nitpicker when it comes to for technique and stuff like that, and that's what we're lucky New Mexico didn't take full advantage of that.
Coach Cano mentioned substitute patterns and depth, and Gabriel Gomez mentioned or Shannon would have been a good sub. And then true or false?
Yep.
We tend to play down to whoever we play. I think that's true. Although New Mexico is
sometimes
a quality team.
Yeah.
But we got to move on. PKs. How I found we went to PKs is AJ started blowing up my phone, and his comment was like, I take better PKs than SAFC. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And I'm like, he told me, hey, they scored. But I watched the PKs. I know there's a theory among SAFC fans that SAFC did not want to show anything on the PKs. I don't know if I necessarily buy it. But when you watch the PKs, like Jorge's was
bad.
Was a soft, down the middle, chest high. No, it wasn't even that. It was it was just here. Let me just top
He
it.
didn't care. It's because they
Mitch
knew
went-
they already had it won. So
Mitch
I mean,
went up and is like, dude, I'm gonna hit the freaking video board, and he hit the crossboard. And Harvey Neville, he like his went way, his went to the tailgate, dude, as far as wide as that was. But we ended up losing. And what's funny is on the New Mexico podcast, they're like, dude, we were great in PKs. We're never that great. But they ended up winning 3-0. I just I have a hard time believing Harvey Neville didn't want to score just because that would have been his first SAFC goal.
But if you think about it, it makes sense.
The PKs, they don't count.
It
They don't
doesn't
count.
make sense. There's already
make
film. There is already
it does
film
make
of them
sense.
taking PKs. It doesn't make sense.
Not all of them. Not all of them. For me, it's more when I guess Jaeger Cup. I think the knockout stage. I think you go straight to PKs. I don't think you go to extra
Same thing.
time.
Yeah, same thing.
So why give film? And like I said, yes, they have previous film on this. Why am I gonna give Hartford film for the next game? If we tie, I'm not gonna give. And I'm sure, like I said, also was our goalkeeper Joey's probably not gonna be the goalkeeper the next game. He probably didn't really, like I said, he tried. Like I said, for the, we don't know yet. We'll see. That's up to Yamosa.
Yeah, but him too.
But
you can tell he wasn't trying either.
Yeah, he wasn't really. Yeah, he wasn't putting much effort either because they knew
he got a yellow card. He got a yellow card for shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, we got a point. They got the point already. So I'm not gonna try this. I mean,
I don't buy it, and I hope SFC.
A lot of people may not like it. I think they did, but for me, I mean, I would have done the same thing. Like, what am I going to show to the other team?
But I'm not going
to play because they do. Like I said, they do study your shots, but then your tendencies. I'm not going to show them. They're going to probably think, well, okay, well, what did he do here? Like, why are these guys messing up? That's the whole point of not trying.
But I will say this, like I told everyone in the supporter section. Do not start that 2-0 chant. And what happened? Look, this is what freaking happened. They scored on us. They wanted to start that 2-0 chant so damn early. And look what happened. So next time when I say don't do the fucking chant, don't do the fucking chant. That's supporter 101 right there. Don't taunt it until it's put away. That pissed me off.
Jonathan, your thoughts on PK Gate, I guess is I'm calling it here.
Yeah, so I was going to say before, apparently I'm not the only one who had that theory, but I, maybe an hour or two after I got home, was done with my recap and everything, I'm thinking, those 3 penalty takers, okay, so you've got Jorge, who takes, he scored 3 for SAFC already this year. He's a pretty consistent penalty taker anyway. So if I want to play devil's advocate, maybe usually he wouldn't go for a Panenka or a shot straight up the middle, but now that's part of his record. Even, in this penalty shootout, he missed it, obviously, but now that's an option that goalkeepers have to consider. With Tainter, I would think at least with him and Neville, they'd like to score, but at the same time, SAFC didn't, they sent up 2 defenders. You're not sending up your best goal scorers. Tainter's, he's made a few. He's also, as we know, missed a few on some big stages.
But we got to put it into consideration. Read the body language after they scored. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. This was very guarded from SAFC. I don't blame them for that. The most important thing was advancing. It was a little nervy at the end there, but they got the result they needed. It didn't matter what happened. Honestly, if they really wanted to, I guess SAFC maybe didn't want to telegraph it too much if they were trying to kind of be secretive and covert. But if you really want to give an inconsequential penalty taker, should have sent Batruni to take one. But yeah, it didn't matter for SAFC. So I can totally understand. And honestly, maybe they even would have had a few other good penalty takers after Jorge, but then maybe it's a case of, okay, well, he missed. we're already at a disadvantage here. You know what? Let's not take this too seriously. So who knows what the rationale was from Mimosa or the players. It depends, who exactly is calling the shots there as far as the order. But you can't read too much into this penalty shootout. I think. I will also point out SAFC now has taken part in 5 penalty shootouts all time. Does anyone know how many they've won?
I think 1.
1. 2018 Open Cup against Colorado Springs. Everything else, lost in the Open Cup and the playoffs in 2017. Lost in 2021 in the Western Conference Final. I'm drawing a blank on the other one.
I thought there was one in the finals we did win.
In the final, well, I don't think SAFC's ever had one besides 2017. I don't think they've ever had one in the playoffs.
Well, my bad, playoffs.
But
they lost that one to Orange County. Well, they won against Colorado.
We won 2 in the playoffs. My bad. Then
I think it was like a U.S. Open Cup versus like that one team from Florida, I believe.
Yeah.
Club De Leon?
Was it that?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was somebody.
No,
somebody. I think it was an Open Cup game, I believe.
But anyways, to wrap up the Jägermeister Cup quarterfinals, all are going to be August 20th. Loudoun United hosts Sacramento. Rhode Island hosts Birmingham Legion. Indy hosts Greenville Tramp because Greenville Tramp couldn't get the field in line to host. And then SanAntonio hosts Hartford Athletic, the second wild card. Birmingham Legion was the first wild card for that here. The SanAntonio announced, because Jonathan was concerned, the Orange County match, again, that was scheduled for that night on August 20th in Orange County was rescheduled to October 15th at 9 p.m. I believe it's a 7:30 kickoff for the Hartford match through there. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, it'll be a draw to determine the matchups for the semifinals for that here down the road. And if you're a season ticket member, it is part of your package. It's already in there. If you do want to get tickets like Royce did, you'll get extra tickets. You can also go on to Ticketmaster and get tickets and support our boys on August 20th against Hartford Athletic.
There's one thing I do want to point out.
Go ahead.
I wish SAFC would have put it on the screen that we were going to take PKs, because a lot of people are getting ready to leave.
A lot of people did leave.
They said about that ahead of time. But I also want to point this out since we got kind of a break, because I think Jonathan's looking for something. Gabriel Gomez, I also want to give a shout out for the hospitality at the tailgate and inviting us to the supporter area. Greatly appreciated. You're welcome anytime, Gabriel. And thank you for following up here. 1 second. I was yelling up at the people to come back, but man, those were terrible all around for the PKs. Let's see here. Just a quick preview, just in case we don't get Royce and I don't get up early. Sacramento comes to town. Any thoughts on playing the villains, since it's Heroes and Villains night? And I do think playing Sacramento is a good villain for that night, for that here. But any thoughts of Pirano, who will be highlighted on the 10-year anniversary, so it'll be good to give him a welcome home, and I think he'll get a good round of applause pre-match when they do announce the 10-year reunion, folks here. We'll start with you, Jonathan. Not to tip any of your preview special, but any thoughts on Sacramento?
Yeah, first of all, well, not first of all, but I guess, like you allude to, I'll be doing my own longer preview. Tune in for that, hopefully coming out tomorrow morning. I don't, unless a meteor crashes into the house, I don't see what's going to keep me from finishing that. But the one thing I will mention, because it's pretty obvious if you look at Sacramento, is they're a really strong team defensively, particularly at the moment. In all competitions and in the league, they haven't conceded in essentially 4 matches. and they have only conceded 12 goals overall in the league this year. So that's the lowest of any team. So we've talked about all the missed opportunities for SAFC. Well, you really, really need to make the most of them, because if Sacramento's history is anything to go off of, you're not going to get many. So you have to take them when they come.
Matt, any thoughts on Sacktown, Republica coming in?
Just take care of California, bro. I don't need no Cali people being happy on that day. I need them all upset.
Anything tailgate wise?
Yes, we should we'll have a big another tailgate. I'm gonna post the flyers in a bit, but yeah, there's another tailgate this week, guys. So remember, be there before 6:30, right? Is it 6:30? What time's the game?
It's 8:00.
Okay.
Is it?
So yeah, be there before 6:30.
Yeah. The Hartford game is at 7:30.
Oh, well, no, we're talking about the Sacramento.
Yeah, but I'm just letting everybody know out there.
So
well,
yeah,
we're getting ready to switch because school starts on the 11th.
September 6th game, we would go back to 7:30.
So
oh wow.
Okay, 6:30 for Saturday. Be there before 6. It's free parking. After 6:30, you get charged. Like I can't help you with that. Yeah, we'll be doing food again. As always, come out, have fun with us. There's beer, there's food. Just hang out with everybody. Like you see in the comments, a lot of people enjoyed it. They had have a great time. That's just how we want to keep it. Great hospitality for everybody.
I think we lost Matt.
Sorry,
Jonathan. Pardon me, Rafa, you're next.
Messed me up.
Okay. So, just like I said, looking forward for this. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Were you gonna finish? I think your mic's off.
Are we good? Can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead and finish.
Sam's asking any special guests.
Oh yeah, the guys from area 210 should be there. Joe will be there to hang out with us in LG. We see Skip.
Oh, you invited him?
No, it's just if he comes.
He'll be in Houston. Yeah. Go ahead, Rafa.
No, I just want to say, like I said, this is going to be a real important game for us. Like I said, it's like Jonathan said, it's going to be a defensive game. This could be a 1-0 game. A 1-0 game probably could win it. It'll be a physical game because there's no loss between these two teams. You can ask Mitch Taylor every time we play Sacramento. So just like I said, the guys are going to need some, like I said, a lot of support. Let's fill up the stadium and hopefully we can get some 3 points and keep on going, pushing forward. Like I say, so as long as we can stay in the top 4, we can at least host a playoff game. And who knows, maybe they still have it still in contention to get that number 1 spot.
No. We're not lowering the bar, dude. Top. We want tops. New Mexico's in a free fall. They got blown out by Hartford. Tulsa we got to see if Tulsa's for real or not, or if they're Tulsa. The top spot is open if SAFC goes out and gets a speedy forward and a striker. Mike says good show. For that here. Jonathan, anything that you have on the Sacramento? We already talked to you on the Sacramento. Matt's throwing me off with this sound and coming on and off and all this.
My bad. My dad called me for some stupid reason and he's messing around.
When your dad calls, you pick up, dude. Especially
I don't.
when you're living in the basement, man.
Nope.
For that here. Final thoughts, though. We'll start with you, Matt, with the tailgate. I know you already kind of hit it a little bit. But any final thoughts of things that's going on that you want to discuss?
I do want to announce that we've concluded the fundraising. Our biggest contributor was MC General Contracting, and we're gonna give that to the TV high school soccer team, to their booster club. So me and Rafa are trying to find a way to reach out to them so we can send it over. No, I don't need to take the trash. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have to, but that's not till tomorrow. But I do also. I don't know if everyone is familiar. If Raz's grandmother passed away, so I do want to throw that condolences out there for her, for all she does for us, and as much as active as she likes to be with the supporters. So I do want to throw that out there. But like I said, guys, if y'all want to come out, enjoy, hang out with us, we love to bullshit. We love to talk. It's always a great time. Like I said, just be there before 6:30. It'll be easier for y'all. If you have any trouble with security, just let me know so I can let FO know. And we're just trying to hash that out right now.
Jonathan, any final thoughts?
I think SAFC learned some lessons this last match, and I think there was even one or two things Rafa said earlier about how in different competitions, having that kind of collapse going to a penalty shootout could be more costly. I think he may have been looking at the rough draft of my preview. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that SAFC was aware of after the match, is aware of going into this match. So hopefully they learned their lesson. And I think it's not even, sometimes I say, you guys will cry out for, they need a number 9, they need a center forward. The chances are there. It's just they need everyone to be a little them. But okay, or they just need everyone to be a little more reliable, a little more consistent with their finishing. And spoiler alert, there may or may not be one player in the SAFC forward line that's actually been kind of efficient by the numbers. Just saying.
Don't say Agudelo.
It's not. So anyway, well, gee, I don't know, Matt.
Don't. Yes, exactly. Read the preview.
Yeah.
Read Jonathan's Bluish Moon tomorrow afternoon for that here.
And
Rob,
then
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll also just, like you said earlier, Harry, I can sleep peacefully now that they've moved to the Orange County game. When SAFC was announcing, hey, quarterfinal's going to be August 20th, I immediately looked at the schedule and was like,
split squad.
Little problem there. They already have a match. And so even for a day or two there, if you looked at the USL site, it literally had just 2 matches on that day. So I'm like, all right, they're going to have to reschedule the Orange County one for some time. And today they finally did. Whew.
Rafa, your final thoughts?
Just final thoughts going into real important, like I said, important stretch. We're like more than halfway. So we got to start building that momentum going to the playoffs. Hopefully someone is out there available to maybe trade for it and bring in a number 9 so we can have someone that can actually finish, because that's what we need. We need people that can finish, and unless someone is really ready to step up and do that, we'll see. But also, like I said, Paredes, hopefully, like I said, he recovers from that injury. And like I said, I think it's so important, like the fans also this week, to really kind of pump up our team. They're going to need it. This is a rivalry game, even though they're not in. It's a big match, so it's a really, like I said, Sacramento's history. They don't like us, we don't like them. It's a physical game, and like I said, it's going to take it's possibly a 1-0 game. Whoever scores is going to win this game on Saturday. So, and also come out to the tailgate, make sure to donate, and we'll be ready to go.
So I got 2 final ones. One, we're getting into school season. So if you can, if you see drives for, I'm trying to think of the proper term here for individuals. School drive for families and kids that need just the basics on school supplies. If you can help out, please do. It's something that's extremely important. I know it's my kid's senior year, so it's amazing how fast it goes. And then my other final thoughts, with Coach Prime in Colorado, finding out that he had was it bladder cancer by doing some follow-ups on other stuff here, especially for men, and I'm talking to myself. Get checked out. I know Rafa's very good about it here. I don't know Matt or Jonathan. You guys are still youngsters here, but if you're mid 40s, 50s, and above, try to do your annual checkups. Get ahead of it. Along those lines. Coach Prime was able to get ahead of it. Had the surgery. He was out for a couple of months during the summer. And like I said here, just as a guy here, as somebody that tends not to go to the doctor or tries to avoid going to the doctors, even for things like my knee, where I should have went a couple of months earlier. Just please make sure you do it. It's important. That way you can get ahead of it. That way you're not playing catch up for that here. But Royce, happy birthday. You were missed. Hopefully you're having a good time in you're Austin or Houston, wherever that you're. Probably Austin.
He's
Royce
Houston.
was Austin. Yeah, but we'll just call
Nah,
you're Houston.
nah, he needs to claim
Harry
it. He's
can't
in
read.
Houston. He's in Houston. He's gonna claim that.
Yeah. But you're our Houston guy. We can't have two Houston guys.
He's not a Houston guy, but he's claiming that he's in Houston. I want him to feel that burn. He's in Houston.
But Jonathan, any comment on Royce's status here, one direction or another?
Like I said, he told us he was in Houston, so not sure what the confusion's about.
I'm gonna put him in Austin because he's always in Austin, dude. He's our
okay.
Austin
Well,
FC
that's your
fan
mistake.
Here. But lots of love, guys. Thank you for everybody that says they listen to the podcast out in the tailgate. I know it's kind of helped motivated me to get a little bit more on the ball here and get these shows out. We tried last week, but just timing, there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about and for that here. So hopefully we'll be back next week at some time, Sunday-ish maybe. We'll see. Depending on what's going on with the families and stuff for that here. But what's life without goals? We are out of here.